We're joined by LaTonia Monroe Naylor, and my goodness, LaTonia, as usual, you are so busy with everything that you do. Can you just introduce yourself to everyone? Who you are, what you did, and you and I started working. Well, it's been a year now since I helped you rebrand. So I am so curious to know what's been happening over the last year.
A lot has happened. A lot has happened. I am now a published author, so that is really exciting. My business has been growing and my clientele expanding, and it's just a good feeling to see a lot of the hard work that you've been putting in starting to come into fruition.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Okay, I heard the word published author, and I noticed on Instagram that you just had a book launch.
Yes.
Show us, show and tell. Let's go. Okay.
Mission Rich and Profit Powered. I just launched December 23rd, which was a very special day for me. It was a day that I suffered a traumatic incident, which you know about because we talked about it when we were working on the branding. And that was the day that I was actually shot when I was 16. And so for me to be able to take a day that was supposed to be the end of my life and make it the transformation of a new beginning of my next phase of my life, it was just such a rewarding feeling and experience. And so I have been taking that passion, transforming it, and teaching other people how to take their passion and transform it into a fully funded business.
That is incredible. Wow, that is so powerful, LaTonia, because of course, I know about your backstory. It's very much part of your business now. You're not afraid to talk about that anymore, right?
No.
So I would love to, like, people don't know who you are. I know everything about you. So let's go back a bit. So before we worked together on your brand, what were some of the things that made you go, it's time for a brand makeover? Like, I need help. What made you think that?
Well, it's so funny because I did not know who I was. So I knew, like, in my heart who I was. I've always been pretty authentic, especially, I would say, over the last 10 to 15 years, I kind of became grounded in who I am as a person, but trying to communicate that to people, like, this is who I am. My little piece of hair keeps sticking. So
I know, me too.
I need to do something about that. And anyways, realize it is what it is, folks. It's Friday. Just deal with it.
Exactly.
Okay. There's gonna be a piece of hair sticking out every now and again while I'm talking. So I said that to say though that I was trying to find, like, how do I take my message and be able to give it to the people that I really know that it's for? And how do I ensure that I'm delivering, whether it's how I look, whether it's when I enter into a space, the words that I use, the marketing that I choose, the colors that I'm branded with, how do I make sure that the folks that I want to target are the ones that are receiving that? And so when I met with you, I had no clue. I remember sitting there like, this is all of it, throwing it on the wall, let's see what sticks. And you were able to help me unpack that. And it's one thing that I always get complimented on is when I go somewhere, people always say, I love your colors. I love how you put that together. I'm like, yes, the boss diplomat.
Well,
she helped me to figure that out, And so a lot of times when people see me out, any of you that have seen me out and y'all have congratulated me or told me how nice I look or the colors or whatever, this is the woman that helps me to identify that strategy of what colors look good on me, what should I be doing, and a lot of colors that I never would wear before. Like, I have purple on at my book signing. I never would wear purple, ever. I hated purple, but because it's one of my colors, I'm like, I gotta wear it. So I learned how to start wearing the colors that are my colors, and it really makes you feel more confident, makes you feel better, and it makes people pay attention to you.
Yeah, and when we say colors, it's not the colors on your business. We're referring to the colors that LaTonia herself, as the boss, is wearing. Because one of the things that a lot of solopreneurs don't actually think about is, how do I put myself together, right? Because when you are your own brand ambassador. You are showing up not only for yourself, but also for your business.
Yeah.
You are representing your business and you are representing your clients at the same time. So it's a lot of pressure, but when you're very strategic with how you put yourself together and what your personal brand colors are, boom, look at that. LaTonia's wearing purple now. She never used to before. And that's like your power color now, girl.
Thank you. Listen, it's always between that and like that goldish mustard color. Anytime I wear that, people are like, "Oh my God, it looks so nice," and I'm like, "Okay, these are two colors I've never wore before." But thank God for the brand, for the Boss Diplomat giving me the branding option because that helped my life, and it also helped me to be comfortable telling my story. Like it's still on my website. When people first go to my website, that's what they see. They get to learn about me, and the reality is this: as an entrepreneur, we come out with this idea that we want to serve everybody, we want to help everybody, but we can't and we won't. Like there's a billion people out there and everybody's not going to like what you're selling. They're not going to like how you look. They're not going to like how you talk. They're not going to like to hear your voice. Sometimes it's just the tone of your voice makes people like, I can never work with that person. But there's going to be people that can receive and can hear and want to hear your voice and want to be around you, want to get to know you. And so getting to that target audience is super important. And I really started on that journey of really identifying who that was for me when I met with you.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. And I love the fact that you recognize that not everyone is going to be your audience. And you know this, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. So
Right.
I love the fact that you've embraced that ever since. So what was that light bulb moment that made you think it's time for that brand makeover, right? Because you not only rebranded your business, actually your business was new when we started, right? There was no name,
So I
nothing.
actually, so what happened was I started full time a few months before we met.
Yeah.
And I was already doing the work, but I had a different name. And I remember it like it was yesterday. You were like, so for those who like seriously, my name was gonna be like Inspire Ed
Yeah.
something. I
It
have
was like,
great
it was this long, it had numbers in the middle, and I was like, that's not, no one's gonna remember this.
Yeah, and I remember like, okay, I was so excited about it, and then you were like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, okay, you got a better idea, basically. And you say, yeah, I do. I'm going to do some research and I'll come back to you. And when you came back to me, you're like, okay, if you want this name, you're like 1,000 on the list because there's like 1,500 other businesses that have a similar name and they're never going to find you. But if you go by your name that's unique, everybody will find you. And so it was like, here's a way for me to save money up front with marketing because when people put my name in, they get to
Yes.
me. And that was such a smart strategy, saved me a lot of money up front on marketing. And yeah, so I just had to say that to you. This piece of hair is really
And
annoying me.
it wasn't your first name either. We got rid of the, it wasn't LaTonia. Your business name became Monroe Naylor. So your middle name and your last name.
Yes.
And that combination was so incredibly unique. No one else on the internet was using that.
I
Cool.
I know, and even right now, when and it was funny because you actually took me through the exercise and you said, let's Google right now. And we Googled and everything that came up was about me. All the pictures, everything that I did in the past, stories, YouTube videos of me speaking at conferences and everything. And I was like, oh my God. So I don't have to pay for SEO. I don't have to do all this stuff because like you literally was worth your money that quick because you saved me like $1,000. So
Yay.
I had to pay you for the package. It was like, oh, she already paid for herself by saving me all this money. And not to mention all of the other things that came out of that. Just reframing my thinking about what it means to be branded and what it means. Like even when I started working on my book, a lot of the techniques that you taught me, I took that into that setting with my book.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think we should also mention the fact that you were already a public figure anyway, LaTonia. You ran for office, your name was already out there, you were already doing press and media coverage, not with your business, but we had to build on that. You had the foundations of really turning your business into something even greater than it was. And your name puts credence on that.
It was it was phenomenal. I thought that I think the challenge for me was that I was in a space where people only saw me as one thing. So I kind of was pigeonholed.
Mm,
And so being able to come out of a space where people only saw me as school committee educator kind of thing,
mm,
and moving into a space where people saw me as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, there are people that are still trying to unlearn and relearn me as a consultant, because people have said to me, why isn't so and so working with you? Or why hasn't so and so asked you to come in and consult with them? And I'm like, I don't know. And my only guess is that they didn't think about it because they only see me in one way. So how do I continue to improve on my branding and my messaging so that people start to see me more as this influential entrepreneur, this consultant that has these strategies that really can help people move from having a profit poor, mission rich organization to a profit powered organization.
mm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, you're more than just one thing. But it's also important to know what part of you do we need to dissect into your business that makes sense for what you want to achieve as well.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's get real, right? I know this was a long time ago, but how was the branding process like for you? And do you have any like surprises or funny stories that you like to share? Hindsight is your best friend kind of thing.
Well, the first thing was one of the outfits that I thought was so cute on me was not. I remember sitting there and you're like, you see this color, lavender. Oh, anytime my husband has this thing about us wearing all the same colors every time we go to church on Sunday.
So
And
cute.
whenever he picks lavender, I'm like, honey, that's a horrible pick color on me. Don't pick that color. He's like, well, what other color do you want? I said, can we just do purple? Do we have to do lavender? Because I remember looking at the picture and he had just bought me lavender Uggs for my birthday. So I had all these cute lavender shirts and sweaters to go with my lavender Uggs. And I was like, I got to figure out another way to wear these because this color makes me look sad, dry, and depressed. And it was because you were able to pull it out and show me, like, as much as the smile as I had, it really still looked pale. And it took away from my vibrancy that I like to bring into the room when I step into the room.
Yeah, and let's talk about the color. Like it was like the shortest training in the world, right? It was less than 10 minutes, and I was able to show you, okay, can you see with your own eyes how this color looks on you, and now this color and this color, like what was going through your mind when you were able to see your photos? And guys, I did this digitally. LaTonia and I were not together physically, right? So this was all done on our computers, and still you were able to go, oh my God, I can see my face is looking yellow now, or I look less brighter now, or I mean, there were some really cute photos of you, and I specifically remember that one with the turquoise shirt.
Yes.
And then I showed you what another photo looked like when you wear mustard, and it looks night and day, right? One of the photos, you looked so like sunshine bright. You had a lot of skin sleep. Your skin looked really healthy. And then with the turquoise shirt, I don't know, it felt like it was winter. You
Yes.
looked a bit dry and a little bit ashy, and it's kind of like, okay, we need to put some blusher on you to like wake your face up.
Right. And it's so funny because one of the things that my graphic designer, I need to have him take that picture and change the color of my shirts. So, like, he has taken some of the photos where I've had a different color and changed the color in my photo so that it matches my colors,
Wow.
so that, to make it more appealing for me. And so that, I feel like I learned so much. I think the biggest two factors that, like, takeaways for me were the name change. Like, I never imagined having my business name Monroe Naylor Consulting. That was never in my mind. And mostly because I'm an introvert. And secondly, because I don't really like to push myself out there. So it was like, here I am trying to be an entrepreneur, but I really don't want to be pushed out there. I really don't want people to, like, see my name. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? How am I going to ever be successful if I don't want to just get out there, And so that conversation with you was reaffirming, like, this is what you need to do. And I definitely feel like the colors were a big deal for me too, because it was just like, you have to know what, like, your brand is everything you do. And I knew that in marketing, I knew that from the day you wake up, from the person you talk to, from the time you answer your phone, like anything that you do is part of your marketing, is part of your brand. And so to really think of it on that level around the colors and even the style of clothing that you wear, learning like what looks good on me versus what doesn't look good on me. So like I had this outfit, my sister-in-law, Goddess Boutique, shout out to Goddess Boutique. She always styles me, Sarah. And when I went into her store last week before my book signing to get my outfit, her husband was like, "Oh, this looks great." I'm like, "Yeah, no, this is not gonna work for me because I know my body shape. Like, I know what looks good on me. I know what is not flattering on me, and all of that." And so I was not about to wear that. But the outfit that we ended up putting on, we were like, "Yeah, this is it. We don't need to try anything else on because we already knew like this is the style." And she's like, "Yep, just add a belt, you do this, do that," and we were good. And I can't tell you the number of compliments I got at the book signing. And
Yeah.
so
Oh
that
my God.
really was part of that. Like if I'd had the wrong color on, I don't think I would have got as many compliments.
Yeah, just oh my God, like I'm feeling like that confidence just like radiating through the screen. I can feel it. It's awesome. So let's fast forward to now. Let's talk about how your rebranded kind of like affected your day-to-day business and like any cool stories from your clients or any noticeable change that you've had. I mean, a year is a long time.
You know what? It might have I think it's been longer than a year. Because I was
Mm.
looking at my stuff yesterday and I'm like, I actually started in 2021. So it's probably been about a year and a half or so that we met. So we're due for another conversation. We're due. But I will say that for me the biggest thing was, and I don't know that it came from my clients, it was more of me knowing. Like I remember before we had our session, the level of clients that I was working with and my way of handling my clients was very different. So like I did a lot of free stuff. I was like not I was afraid to charge a reasonable fee for my services. I was still trying to get that confidence because what was happening is the clients that I was reaching at that time were folks that were like not valuing what I was doing, not valuing my services. And I don't know if it was because they really didn't or they just couldn't afford it. I don't really know that part of it. But what I do know is that I felt like I wasn't worth more, right? And so after we had the conversation, and it's like, well, you need to target your people. Who are you talking to? What does your person look like that you want to speak to, that you want to market to? Then it was like, okay, the reason why you're probably not valuing me is because you're not really my person. And I need to
Yeah.
be targeted. So if I go to the person I need to target, then I will have a different experience. And I absolutely did. I started limiting the number of free sessions that I did. I increased my prices. And I started to attract the kind of people that I really, really wanted to work with. And when I say that, it's people that when I met with them and I gave them feedback, they would apply it, they would move forward with it, they would do things with it, and I would see that they valued what I was bringing to the table. They came ready to learn, wanting to grow and wanting to do more. And so that really was not so much the clients giving me that feedback, but me observing that.
Mm.
I was spending less time on people that weren't willing to invest in my work and invest in my business.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I love that you're seeing that difference now when you're narrowing down and you're not spending as much time doing free things, because I felt like most of your time went towards free things with the hopes and dreams of getting people to pay you. And then when you were asking to be paid, it was like, I don't know, it was like pennies to me. I just thought, how could you can't make a living by charging like $50 for this amazing service that you're offering. And okay, let's not forget, you are a public figure. People do know you. You are really well respected in the community, and they pay you pennies.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You're
you're
right.
worth so much more than that.
It was an eye-opening thing, and I'm not going to dive too deep into some of it because it's in the book, and I want people to buy the book to hear the full story. But I will say that it was part of my journey of learning how to, like you talk about the confidence. I didn't have that level of confidence. I was still trying to figure it out. And it took coaching. It took coaching from you. It took coaching from Mike Connolly, who's my marketing coach. It took coaching from Jasmine Womack, who helped me to get my frameworks together to be able to write my book. But I don't feel that I would have been able to be ready for them if you hadn't been there first to help me to like open my mind up to see what it was that I needed and what I needed to do. And like, LaTonia, you're something special. Like, I remember you telling me that, like, you have a story to tell. People need to hear your story. You are so special. I love what you're doing. I love what you're saying. And that was like the first time that I really had somebody speaking that into me once I started my full-time business. Like, I've had people tell me to start a business. You should do this, you should do that. But they weren't giving me the strategies of what to do to be successful. And so having that conversation with you, but then also getting some strategies for like, here are some things that you can do to move forward. And I've literally been applying those strategies in everything that I do anytime that I make a move.
Yeah, awesome. And a lot of that was from the brand blueprint. That is the foundational piece of your brand. And of course, we did a lot more than just the brand blueprint. We did the image consulting, looking into your website and how do you basically apply this brand strategy with your story in it as front and center, and then being able to apply it into your marketing. So I love the fact that you did take that process really seriously, and then it has a ripple effect on your marketing. Like you say, you can't do marketing without having a good solid brand, because if you do, you're going to keep making mistakes. It's going to be so expensive, and then you're going to have to like duct tape it later, fix it, just so that you can continue moving forward. So you probably just saved yourself 3 years of like that hard work.
I did. And it's funny because I look at where I was when we first met financially, and I'm not like ranking in the door or anything right now. I'm on my journey, on my path. But I can tell you that I'm doing much better than I was when we spoke. And it was because I remember telling somebody at one point, they were critiquing something, heavily critiquing something I was doing. And I finally stopped and I said, you know what? You're not my target audience. So I
Good.
appreciate that you feel that way, but this is what my target audience wants. And the reason why I know is because I did the market research and I met with them and I did focus groups. And that was what allowed me to be able to see. As a matter of fact, I see one of my folks that was in my focus group has joined the live, you know. And so I really appreciated their input because it helped me to understand, like, this is what y'all want, this is what y'all need, and what I can deliver to you. I want to make sure I'm that for you. I don't need to be what everybody else wants me to be because they're not buying my services. They're not interested. They don't see the value. Maybe, I don't know, don't really care because they're not my customer, you know. But
Perfect.
those that are my customers, those that are my prospects, I want to make sure that they feel and understand the relevancy of what I can bring to them to help them transform and move into their next place. And I'm seeing some results, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah. Well, year one, year two. This is year
Yeah,
2 for you, right?
I'm going into year 3.
Going into year 3. Okay. But you've got that resilience now. You've got the walls up, and anyone who is critiquing you, you're not letting that impact you now, personally and professionally, because you've now acknowledged the fact that you can say whatever you want, but I'm not here to serve you because you're not the person that this business is for.
Right.
And that's completely fine. You put them in their place. You put yourself in a really strong position to say, that's, you know, I don't mind you criticizing my work because it's not even for you, so it doesn't even matter.
Right.
You can just like brush it off and like, okay, bye, be on your way, it's fine. I'm here to serve this person instead.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, love it. So if you could like hop into a time machine and give yourself advice before the rebrand, what would it be?
Before the rebrand, find talent, find her faster. That would have been my suggestion. Because I was spinning. I was spinning the wheels. I was confused. I just got started. I was listening to a speaker recently and they were just like, start, dirty and clean up later. And I was just like, that's what I did. I did not have a clue. I just started. And now I'm just like, okay, what do you do to move forward? How do you continue to grow? How do you continue to critique what you're doing in a way that's going to be edifying, right? And my biggest thing is this. In the last year, one of the things that I learned the most is that you cannot be a perfectionist in this work.
No.
But you can still strive for excellence. You can still work towards excellence. And so wherever I am or whatever stage I'm in, I can be excellent at that level and continue to work up, work up, work up. And that's what I've been doing. And that switch of perspective has really made a difference for me. It really has. It allowed me to own the things that you kind of were pouring into me when we met, but then it also allows me to say, LaTonia, here's the areas where you need to continue to improve, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you mentioned about how don't strive for perfection, just be excellent. Let's talk a little bit more about that. How has that served you in your business, and of course for your clients as well?
So my ability to look for excellence more than perfection means that I actually move forward. When you're trying to be perfectionist, it actually leads to procrastination because nothing is ever going to be perfect. You're never going to have everything exactly the way you want it. Yesterday, I was doing an interview and I had my marketing stuff. I have a big banner and everything, and I was bringing it with me to the interview and I forgot it. And I got to the destination and I didn't have it. And it was like, do you want to be perfect and miss the interview, reschedule, maybe never get another one with this person? Or do you want to just go ahead and just get the interview done and know that this is a lesson learned? Next time, have your checklist and look at it before you leave the house so you make sure you bring your stuff with you. And I moved forward and I had the interview and it went very well. Could it have been better? Yeah. But I provided the very best that I could at that moment because that was the best that I can do. And it was a great interview. I don't think anybody's going to look at it and say she should have had her marketing banner in the background.
Hey, you look good. That's good.
I'm going to think about it because I know, like, I could have did this, I could have did that. But that would have been killing my zeal, killing the passion in the interview, and not allowing the folks that were interviewing me to receive what I had to give them because I would have been so stuck on how I didn't get a chance to do that one thing that would have made it perfect, you know? And that is an example of what I've utilized in everything I do, whether it's the nonprofit work that I do, you know, helping my staff to get develop their professional development and things of that nature. I'm like, look, we got a plan together. Let's work on this is the thing we're going to do here. This is the thing we're going to do next. And let's not kick ourselves when it's not the exact way that we wanted it, because in our mind, we pictured it this way. There's always a benefit to learning from the things that didn't go the best way that you wanted it to, right? Yeah. There's this sense of strategy. There's this sense of camaraderie that we work together as a team. We figure out, you know, who's going to do this next time, or how do we do it better? You know, how do we morph this into something even more synergistic and more better than what we even thought in the first place? That doesn't happen when you're a perfectionist. Because if I was a perfectionist, I would be like, y'all doing this, you're doing this, that. I'm running a tight ship here because it has to be this way. And it doesn't allow for creativity. It doesn't allow for them to be able to level up to what their potential really is. And I've seen more come out of my staff in the last 6 months by me loosening the reins more and letting them be who they are and relook at what their positions are and things of that nature than if I would have stayed like, this is how it has to be, this is how it has to be, right? That's a learning process. It's something that you need to learn. And I literally, like, I remember I was doing a conference, and like the day before the conference is when I had this thought, this light bulb moment, that perfectionism is the enemy of progress. That just came to my mind. And I was just like, you know what? I don't know if somebody ever said that and I heard it before, but that's what came to my head. And from there is when I started changing how I was interacting with my staff and how I was doing things. And like, no, we're not seeking to be perfect. We want it to be perfect, but we're looking for excellence. Excellence is always going to be superior.
And you know what? The thing about your brand is it's ever evolving, because the more you grow, the more you learn, the more your brand also evolves with you. So just because you did this branding process when you first started your business, it doesn't mean it stays stuck. It moves with you. You just have the foundational piece for it, but now you're learning all of these things. You've learned to loosen up. You've learned to let go of perfection, because that leads to procrastination. And I hope that quote is in your book, because that was amazing, LaTonia.
If it's not, I'm putting it on a t-shirt. Nobody take that.
Just make sure it's not lavender. And then the fact that you're able to like have made so much progress even with your staff, and they are seeing the change in your leadership, as well. It's like incredible. LaTonia, you're the boss.
Thank
You're
you.
the boss. Okay.
You know,
So,
that's what they call me. I actually have a thing. I'm gonna show it to you. This is what one of them gave me for Christmas, and I got to put it on my wall.
oh yes, I love it.
Boss
You know
lady.
what? You see, okay, you can't be the boss without boss diplomat. So
You're right. It started with the boss diplomat. She helped me to get to this boss lady status.
Yeah, and now you've got that boss lady plaque. Plaster it on your wall. My goodness, that's awesome. So for like solopreneurs that are thinking about a brand facelift, what's your advice to them?
I would say make sure that you have somebody that's an expert. Hint, hint. I don't know what your screen is. I don't know if they're pointing up, down, but this person I'm talking to, this boss diplomat, have somebody that you know knows their stuff. I think it's so important that we do our research. And actually, I talk about this a little bit in the book. Like, I'm giving myself commercials every 5 seconds
The whole
because it's
point.
very important, right? It's very important that you have a circle of people around you that really have the expertise. A lot of times what we do is we go with the person that is convenient, and we go with the person that we know, that we're related to, all these things like that, and they're not always the best ones for us. And so when I found you, it was like, I think I posted it online, and I have 4 or 5 people that were referred to me. One of them I knew I wasn't going to use because I had a bad experience with that person. And then the other 3 people I reached out to, but you were the first to respond. And I met with you. And when I met with you, I was just blown away by your professionalism, by your knowledge, and what you offered. And I was like, you know what? Let me give her a chance. I don't know her. I know somebody that does know her. She came highly recommended. I'm going to work with you. And I was so happy to see like what you said you would deliver. You superseded that, right? You provided me with a sense of comfort that I could trust what it was that you were going to bring to the table. And you have to have that when you decide that you are going to work with somebody and outsource something that you're not good at. Stop trying to be good at everything. You are good at what you are selling or your service. That is what you're good at. Now, if you are not a branding person by trade or by skill, do not try to do it. Just don't.
You'll hurt yourself, guys. You'll hurt yourself.
Yes, you're gonna hurt yourself. And I've been there and I've done it. People try to save money and they try to cut corners. We talk about this in the book as well. Like, you cutting corners is not gonna save you money later. It's gonna cost you more later. And so I put the investment in because I knew I needed this. I knew I didn't know all the answers. And I knew that, I was blown away. I absolutely did stuff opposite of what I would have done from what you taught me. Like I gave the example of the color purple. I was like, I ain't wearing purple. Like, I look like Barney or something. Color, but I embraced what you said. And immediately I saw the difference because of the way people responded when I wore the color. And I'm like, here's a color I never really liked to wear, but because you suggested it. And so you have to trust somebody more than yourself when it comes to things you're not skilled at. And that's just not what you do. And it also opened the door for me to be able to trust people. Like, even my graphic designer that I have, you can always tell when I did my graphics versus him. Because when he does them, they are fantastic. What I do is like,
Yeah.
But it was important to me to have that same strategy of what I used to work with you when I was going to onboard him. And he came highly recommended, somebody that I wanted to work with. And I was like, cool. And when I tested him out and I got to see like this, he knows what he's doing, let's move forward, right? And so that is something that I would say to folks. Do not, do not, do not think you have the ability to do this on your own, because you likely do not. You need somebody else to give you some feedback. And you always know when people never sought help because it just looks horrible. What they do looks horrible. And I'm not saying that when you start out it's going to look great, because when you're starting it's never going to look great. You're always going to improve. Like you said, when you're seeking excellence, you're always going to find ways to level up and do better. What I'm talking about is you're 10, 15 years in and you look horrible still. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a long time to be horrible. Gosh.
Right. And then some people are like, oh, people are haters. People don't like, no, you just don't know how to have the right brand that reflects you, that reflects the people you need to target. You're trying to be everything to everybody. And if you have somebody who has expertise to come and talk to you that you listen to, you would know there's things you need to tweak.
Mm,
You know, so I don't ever, I always give shout outs to people when people give me compliments on things, because it's my learning that has allowed me to be here, my ability to receive what people have taught me and told me, and what I've learned from other people. And so I never want to get up and say, oh, I came up with this on my own, or I got it on my own. No, you were one of those people that helped me to understand this. Did I add to what you gave me? Of course, because I'm who I am and it's unique to my business. But I would have never gotten there if I didn't have you to start that for me. So I greatly appreciate everything that you've done for me in my business.
and I want to say one more thing about that. I appreciate so much that you were able to not only trust me, but you let your walls down. You were so vulnerable with me when I asked you about, let's take you back. Like, you know, it's the past, present, and future, LaTonia, right? And it's so important to acknowledge things that happen in your past do reflect and helps you think about things differently. When you told me that you got shot at such a young age, okay, number one, you got shot. You survived it, and you're here to lift the tale, and you were able to turn something so like traumatic into something positive, where you're giving yourself to other people. Because LaTonia, you have like a huge heart, but you were able to then turn this into a business so you can actually support yourself and continue to work hard for your community. And that's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
no, it's I mean, I've never had someone say I got shot in all of like I've probably worked with over 100 small businesses now, and you are still like the first person that had told me that particular thing. And the minute you said that, I thought this needs to be part of your story, because it's really shocking, but it's real. It happened to you, and it's not like you can turn back time and rewind and fix that. It is what it is. But now you are so mission driven. You have also worked with other people who have gone through gun violence, and that's such a huge part of the work that you're doing. So catch us up to now. So what is your business doing now, and what have you been doing? And obviously you have big news to share. So
Yes.
bring on
So
the promotions.
yes. So I have my book, Mission Rich and Profit Powered. And it's so funny. What a quick joke I have to tell you. So this was not going to be purple. Remember I told you I don't like the color purple.
Definitely, it's like that's it. You
Wasn't
can't walk away from it.
purple at all, was it? And it was going to be yellow or red or something. I can't remember what color. And my daughter, Patience, was like, "Ma, why won't you make it purple?" Like, she's like, "I don't know if I can give you this advice, but I want to know, why can't it be purple?" And I said, "Well, what made you think of purple?" And she said, "It symbolizes wisdom and royalty." And she started giving me all these colors, what purple stands for. And Ma, that's exactly the message that you want people to get out of this. You want them to be wiser after reading your book. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a good recommendation. So I suggested that to the designer, and he changed it to purple. And I was like, you know what? I really like it. And
Yeah.
everybody that said that they liked, the design, were like, oh my God, the purple really makes it pop. Oh my God, this and that. And so, yes. Oh, she said purple is rich. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And she was like, you want people to make money, give them purple. And so I was just like, that was something I just had to share. So yes, Mission Rich and Profit Powered. I am an author now, published author. My books are available on Amazon or on my website, monroenaylor.com/books. Or just go straight to missionrichandprofitpowered.com, and you can go right in there and order. I also have a workbook that accompanies the book for folks who want to start working through what they're doing as they're reading. It's a really good tool to have. And other than that, I'm also getting ready to start coaching. So I've been doing consulting for the last couple of years, and I've been working with folks on small projects like grant writing and funding strategies. And now I'm getting ready to do a full coaching course where folks can join in And we walk basically through all the modules that mirror the book and allow folks to create everything that we talk about in the book with me so that they are able to be, finish that course and be able to have their business intact where they can get funding. I imagine that when people start coming through this coaching program, they're actually going to get grant funding while they're in the program because that's how confident I am in this strategy. I've used it multiple times. And the strategies that I talk about in here are absolutely going to help folks see funding and not have to keep using their credit cards or personal funds or working 100-hour weeks to make ends meet.
And so, when you talk about getting grants and funding, are you talking about organizations or individuals?
So I'm talking about folks who are LLC businesses or nonprofit organizations, church ministries, anybody who is eligible for funding. So there is, I do teach a class where I teach individuals how to get access to grants for themselves. Not really related to this work, but something a little bit different. And so folks can definitely get grants for themselves, but I really don't focus on that in my coaching. I focus more on the business aspect of it and making sure, because a lot of our nonprofits, folks don't know this, but there are only 20% of nonprofits that make more than $500,000 a year. And I was able to help an organization go to $500,000 in less than 5 years.
That's
and
amazing.
So they're already in that top 20% because of the strategies that we put in place that mirror these that I taught. And that is what I really want to make it clear to people that you just don't. And then if you look at the stats for LLCs, it's very similar. Yeah. That most LLCs make $25,000 a year. I was just talking to somebody yesterday or the day before, and we were talking about that statistic that most only make $25,000 a year. So for me to say I've reached 6 figures in less than 2 years in my LLC business, and oh, by the way, here's the strategy that I put in place. These are things that I'm telling people, like, don't tell me you're going to figure it out yourself and come back to me later on for consulting, because you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot. You really want to spend the $20, get the book, and at least start there so that you have some strategies in place if you decide you want to try and do it on your own first. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too is we're going to have an orientation for Mission Rich Academy, which is going to allow folks to hire me on retainer so that they can have access to me for consulting each month. And the other thing that I'm excited about is we're going to start a book club. So we will have a virtual book club, and I'm looking to do one in person as well, where folks who are reading the book can come together. We can chat about what they got out of the book and stuff like that. And so lots of things on the horizon. You'll be seeing things coming up. I am anticipating February 16th doing a post-birthday special so that folks can actually go to Amazon and purchase my book, and we will be doing a special, and more info on that will be coming out soon. We're at 131 on the bestseller list right now, and we're looking to get in the top 100. So February 16th, we hope that that's going to help us to get into that top 100 bestseller.
Oh my God, LaTonia, such amazing stuff. Wow, I'm so excited for you. This is going to be a really big year for you as a published author and everything else under your belt. And please email me those informations, by the way, so that I can add it and just try to spread that out as well. And I guess I've got one more question for you. So the $1 million question is, would you send your friend to Boss Diplomat for the rebrand, and why?
Absolutely. If you're my enemy, I might send you there too, because I believe that you need Boss Diplomat. I just want to see people do better. I want to see people grow. And I love to see people win. I really do. It's just such a blessing for me to see people win. And I know that the key to that is knowing who you are, knowing how to articulate that, how to send your messaging in a way that's effective, and how to connect with the audience that God put out there just for you. And Boss Diplomat will help you to do that.
Oh my God, so much big praise. Thank you so much. That's amazing. LaTonia, it's always so amazing to talk to you because you're so inspiring and you're so full of life. And I just love the fact that you're supporting businesses that are really struggling, and also nonprofits as well who are continually struggling. But you're here to help them, and let's support LaTonia, guys. Buy her book. Let's put it in the top 100 you know, ranking, and then even higher up into the charts. So that'll be absolutely amazing. LaTonia, thank you so much for joining me live. I know this was a bit like, whoa, we're going live, but we did it. It
Yes,
was like
yes.
nothing.
I'm inspired. I'm going to start doing my Tea and Talk Tuesdays on Instagram and Facebook, and eventually be adding LinkedIn to that as well. So I'll be doing it. So this is my first time, but I'll be starting this month, actually on Tuesday, with streaming live to Instagram. So folks will see me a lot more on Instagram. Thank you, Boss Diplomat.
Thank you, LaTonia, and have a wonderful rest of the week.
Thank you, you too. Bye.